Welcome back, everyone. A major part of Wealthlocity's business is protecting the assets of people with a lot of money, so-called HNWI, high net worth individuals. In many personal conversations, the question of how to catch such customers comes up again and again. With this video, we shed some light on the matter and show what is helpful for this and what, often surprisingly, you don't need to do business with such customers. This is Wealthlocity, where you create, protect, and grow your wealth fast. The most important thing first. Don't be a blowhard, be yourself. Showing up with a rented Ferrari, a financed Rolex, and fake designer sunglasses doesn't make an impression. At least not a good one. Your customer knows that he has more wealth than you, and you don't have to pretend that you're in his league or even close to it. If you were in his league, you wouldn't need his order. Avoid fake it until you make it. The first customer in this league is certainly the biggest challenge because at this moment you have no references or recommendations from this customer group. Pretending to be like that is very risky because the world of HNWIs is a village, and pretending to potential customer X that HNWI Y is already your customer is quickly disproved by a phone call between X and Y, and then you no longer need to show your face at X or Y and their close circle of acquaintances. Know your price and the value of your service. Thinking that you can get more just because your customer has more money rarely works, apart from a few HNWIs who no longer have any feeling for what things cost. On the other hand, you shouldn't try so desperately to get the contract that you sell yourself short just to get your foot in the door. Your first price sets the foundation for everything else. If you go too cheap, you may be wasting the potential to earn more over many years. Be discreet, even if it's difficult. It's very easy to want to proudly list the name or company name of your new HNWI customer as a reference on your website, or to brag to friends and acquaintances that so-and-so is now your customer. Most HNWIs don't like that, at least in their private lives, because not only can you deduce what services the person uses, like if you are a therapist, bodyguard, or investment advisor, but you can also be a weak point through which people who are not well disposed towards the HNWI could gain access to confidential information. Incidentally, this is the reason why Wealthlocity does not name any references and never confirms or denies the existence of customer relationships in personal contact. Be persistent. This point is actually not only related to HNWIs, but is generally helpful. But here too, don't be put off by the first no. The more often you remind them of yourself, without being pushy, the greater the chance that you will get the contract. Deliver a clean job. This point actually goes without saying, but it deserves to be mentioned, as this customer group is quite limited in number, and it has a more serious impact here if you deliver a poor service to customer A and they tell B, C, and D the next time they are on the golf course. Once your reputation is ruined, it is very difficult to get back on track. Don't be too many people. Have a product or service that you stand for and are known for, and don't try to be so broadly positioned that you have the solution to all possible problems. Most high net worth individuals maintain a network of experts rather than having a single all-rounder around them. Don't work for the competition, or if you do, be transparent and discreet. If you work for a high net worth individual, there's a good chance that you'll come into contact with someone who works for a competitor at some point. In addition to the temptation to be poached, there's also the possibility that you could easily work for both sides. Your customers will of course have serious concerns that you'll tell competitor B about the knowledge you acquired from customer A. This won't go down well with either A or B because B will think that if you open up about A, you'll also open up about B to C later. If you work for competing high net worth individuals, you should discuss this with A before signing a contract with B, and also inform B that you will keep everything that happens at a confidential and vice versa. If both sides agree, you have gained a lot of trust through your transparency, provided you keep your promise of confidentiality. Be reachable. In some areas where you work for high net worth individuals, it may be necessary for you to be reachable promptly, as delays can quickly become very expensive for your customers. Working with fixed office hours or disappearing for several weeks on a retreat without internet access is more of a hindrance. especially if this has not been agreed in advance. Of course, you don't have to wait 24/7 for your customer to call and sacrifice your entire private life, but response times of several days are rather unacceptable. Be prepared to travel. In the H&WI sector, in Wealthwocity's experience, there is still greater skepticism about electronic communication than the normal population. Some meetings are better held in the villa by the pool than via Zoom. Or if you have to make a phone call, then not via an app, but a classic phone number, PSTN. So if your customer wants you to visit them in person, be prepared to get on a plane and get paid for it, of course. You should also be flexible with your appointments. Some H&WIs travel a lot themselves and would like you to fly with them for a few days. Be proactive and think for yourself. Have you found new information somewhere that could be useful for your customer? Or do you think that a certain process is a problem? Then speak up. If you deliver more than agreed and can think outside the box, you will collect valuable bonus points and take an important step from being a pure service provider to being a trusted person. Find the fine line between trust and privacy. There is no standard approach to this, because some high net worth individuals like to include you in their private processes, while others, even years later, don't even talk about the last company party or how their family is doing. It's better to wait passively to see whether such private information is given to you than to ask too boldly and cross boundaries. On the other hand, if you are given such information, you should of course not appear completely disinterested. If your customer invites you to the next family celebration or an evening with business partners and their entertainment manager, you will of course say yes. Otherwise, you won't be asked again anytime soon. Be in the right place at the right time. At the Vienna Opera Ball, you will meet a different audience than in Saint-Tropez, St. Barth, or in Davos at the World Economic Forum. But maybe your future customer is not in any of these places, but at a boring trade fair about tools, or a rooftop party for cryptocurrency fans. Think carefully about who exactly you want to catch and be present in the bubble of your target group. What you don't need: suit and tie. Most high net worth individuals are surprisingly casual, and unless you are invited to a corporate headquarters or to an event where the press is present, you can leave your suit and tie in the closet and arrive in clean, casual clothes. A good rule of thumb here is to always walk around a little, if only a little, more formal than the customer. If no customer invites you to the pool, wear swimming trunks, but maybe a top or shirt with them, even if the customer is on the lounger with their upper body bare. When you first make contact, however, be formal unless, for example, a recommendation makes it clear that this is not necessary. It is rather fatal if your customer is sitting at the table in a suit and you are standing at the door in swimming trunks or a bikini and flip-flops. Conversely, your customer will let you know with a wink that the trouser suit will stay in the hotel next time. An office in a glass palace. In most cases, you will come to the customer and they will not come to you. So you can definitely get by without an office in a skyscraper on the best street in town. Lots of money. We have already discussed that you are in a different league to your customer, so you don't even have to try to keep up with their lifestyle here. However, managing your earned money well can help so that the next time your client wants you to get on a plane, you don't have to buy the ticket on credit. References from other high net worth individuals. As explained in the confidentiality section, your client will know that you are keeping quiet about such arrangements. However, if this is not your first client, there is a good chance that you were recommended to them by another high net worth individual, and that is reference enough. Fancy technology, equipment, designer clothes. You don't need the latest iPhone, the most expensive laptop, the best briefcase or handbag, or a designer pen to sign your service contract. None of this will make much of an impression on the client, as what may be expensive or fancy to you may not be expensive or fancy to the client. If you come across as too dressed up, the customer will wonder whether they are perhaps paying too much to finance this lifestyle. An answer to everything. I don't know, I have to look into it, I'll get back to you, are more honest and accepted than trying to quickly piece something together that then has to be corrected later, or turns out to be simply wrong. It does make a good impression if you have complete command of your field of expertise, but putting things off is also authentic and acceptable now and again. Accept every order. I can't do it. It's not my area of expertise. Someone else can do it better. And similar statements are honest and are received positively. Even if it sounds tempting to accept everything that sounds like an order and then see how you implement it, this can quickly backfire if the delivery is late, incorrect, or not made at all due to overwork, a lack of knowledge, or poor coordination. Especially if you are not an expert in a particular area, it is better to recommend a trusted person and possibly take a commission from them than to deliver mediocre work yourself, exceeding the limits of what is legal. In some wealthy circles, activities that do not take the law too seriously are part of everyday life. Whether a customer invites you to a line at the pool, invites you to see Easy Girls with their entertainment manager, or wants to play poker or roll the dice for your next fee. You do not have to agree to this if you have concerns or if it goes against your values. You may get a reputation as a bit of a square or a spoilsport, but that is still better than being drawn into things that you are uncomfortable with. Know everything your customer is doing. Unless you are a trade secret holder, it is better not to know everything that goes on in your customer's home or company. This protects you in the event that gray area activities are published and you are associated with them. For this reason, Wealthlocity also works on a strict need-to-know basis. We would rather not know anything that is not essential to our service, for example, what you use your offshore company for, or where the money comes from to fund your foundation. Don't stay with the same customer forever. In contrast to marriage, where you promise until death do us part, it is perfectly legitimate to turn your back on a high net worth individual customer, or to end the collaboration. However, a bad reason for doing so is just because the next customer pays better. Because word gets around in the small network, and the new customer will doubt whether you will leave them again just because someone else pays a little better. Why would you want to work for someone rich and famous? Tell us in the comments below, and we see you in the next video with more money in your pocket.